The Community Foundation of South Central Kentucky's mission is to encourage philanthropic giving for positive impact upon our communities for now and generations to come. In order to build, promote, and better encourage this mission, the Foundation has created an annual award to be presented to one distinguished member of our community whose life matches these same goals of service, impact, and overall commitment to our area. The 2020 South Central Kentuckian of the Year is Fred Higgins.
Dad would give you the shirt off his back if he could, and then some. Dad did everything 100%, and he didn't let something knock him down.
He was a great, caring man. He engaged with everyone that he was in front of. He cared about what was going on in their life, and he was just very caring.
I think he made a big impact on a lot of young people. He'd love to be a mentor to young people. He was a very giving person.
You know, he was driven to make a better place. He was driven to help his neighbor. He was driven to help his family. He was driven to run the business. He was driven to make the business better. He was driven to make everything around him better.
Not only did he love all of us and all of his employees, we loved him. And I think that's just the kind of guy he was. He was a guy who loved and was loved.
Through our church, you've probably heard about this, that he helped install water purification systems in other countries.
We went to a town in the western hills of Guatemala in 2004. We needed and did not have a large reservoir for the water. About an 800-gallon tank was what we needed, and we didn't have. And Fred essentially said, well, I'll take care of that. The next thing we knew, several of us were tailing along behind Fred through this city of Quetzaltenango as he went in and out of plumbing supply stores and hardware stores and made the arrangements and finally found a tank. At one point, he decided that we needed donuts.
He saw a place that had were selling donuts, and he thought everyone needed donuts on the project. So, yeah, that was Fred.
If he's going to be successful, the community's got to be successful. And you're not in a vacuum. You know that everyone is in this together. And I feel like that's how he lived his life. That's how he ran his business. That's how he ran any philanthropic thing he did. He was really good about not just thinking, okay, I need to help my neighbor across the street. My neighbor could be 1,000 miles away. But he knew if he was in a position to help, he did it.
Fred changed my life and made a dream that I had that I'd really forgotten about possible. One day Fred called me into his office. It was like Fred needed to talk to me about something. So Fred looked at me and he said, what do you want to do with your life? Well, I thought, okay, I've just changed jobs. I'm working for Minute Mart Foods and I like it. And I said, well, Fred, I thought I was kind of doing it. He said, no. What do you want to do with your life? I said, okay, I want to be a good employee for you. He said, no. What if you could be anything in the world? What would you be? And I said, a teacher. I'd always wanted to teach. He said, why aren't you? And I said, Fred, I just can't do it right now. I can't go to school and raise my 2 kids, and it's just kind of a time that I don't have the finances to do that, and I'm really not sure about the time that it would take. So he looked at me and he said, I'm going to start a program. He said, I'm going to start a program for employees, and I will pay for you to go to school. And I said, but Fred, I can understand that for people that are going to come back and work for you and help better your company, but I said, I want to teach. He said, who do you think works for me? And I said, well, people. He said, people who've been to school. And Fred was just always there for me. He was probably my biggest cheerleader next to my mother. And he just pushed me through. He truly, truly believed in me when I really was not believing in myself so much. And I was able, I hope, to influence the lives of a lot of young people. And hopefully someday somebody will say that I was able to help them and make their dreams come true like Fred Higgins did mine.
That is just what a special person Fred was, that he cared deeply for his family and his friends, his employees, and the last days of his life. We brought him home and had to have round-the-clock nurses. And he was asking them about their family, about their children, what was going on in their life.
The person who had been attending him had dropped out of nursing school, and she was now doing this work as a at-home caregiver. But Fred caught on that there was something more that she could do if she finished her degree. And so really from his deathbed, when he was so sick, and he could hardly talk really, he managed to raise up on one elbow and tell her that she had a bright future and that he would encourage her to go back to school. Remarkable story to me, because it does frame for us this idea that Fred does see the bigger picture, and Fred does see possibilities where some of the rest of us maybe would see dead ends. And he's willing to push on past the initial discouragements that some of us get bogged down by, and push forward to make new and good things happen. Really, really quite remarkable.
He just wanted to be there for people, and just always lend a helping hand. I mean, that was what was so special about him. He was so selfless, He was thinking about others, and even at that time, he was thinking about those young nurses and how they were doing and what was going on in their life, and wanting to know more about them.
Fred had a lot of energy, and much of that energy was focused towards the nonprofits and the underserved in our community. And he, he was a big supporter of, I mentioned Junior Achievement, the Buckhorn Center for Children. Certainly Kids on the Block was a passion of his.
My mom and I went to a show of the Kids on the Block troupe in Nashville, and we saw them perform the program with the puppet that has my disability. And my dad or my mother thought, this would be a great program in Bowling Green. So she worked with Alice Cummer to bring it to Bowling Green, and my dad, he became Kids on the Block's first chairman of their board, and remained involved, until his death. I mean, he made sure that the message Kids on the Block brings to the community remained strong. We lost my mom in '98, and it was a difficult, obviously, period to go through. My dad petitioned to the National Kids on the Block office to create a bereavement program, and the puppet in the bereavement program is named after my mom. And so kids, and anywhere that has a Kids on the Block troupe can benefit, because he wanted to help someone else go through this situation that he doesn't even know that person that may be singing that show in, Des Moines, Iowa. But he knew that information needed to be out there, and he made it happen.
Fred loved his people. He loved his family. He loved his community. Bob Goff says something on the order of, "Give love away like you're made of it," and that was Fred. He cared about people, and he was always doing things for other people. I've said this many times over the years, but I did not meet Fred till I was about 35 years old. So I was able to do life with him for close to 25 years. And that's the only thing only regret I have about Fred Higgins is that I wish I had met Fred Higgins much earlier in my life. He had that kind of influence on me.
That was just Fred that just cared so deeply about people, the community. He was a loving husband, father, grandfather. He was so courageous. He was a fighter, had a heart of gold.
Because of who he was, people wanted to work with him and people wanted to make things happen just like he did. And I think that he made other people want to be better. You have to live up to Fred.